I shot this with a 50mm lens. Yes, it's true. This really was taken with my D7100 camera and a 50mm lens. How in the world did I get this shot? Well, there's a couple things. First of all, this was taken where else? At Lake Carl Blackwell, same location as the past 2 weeks worth of photos. And this, you can kind of see the lake wasn't quite as frozen, even though this was taken like maybe 20 minutes after last week's photo. The different parts of the lake looked different, and that's why we didn't go on the ice at all. So even though this is the exact same lake and basically the same time as the other week's photos, the lake here looks a little different, and that's just my way of explaining why we didn't chance going on the lake at all. But that's kind of irrelevant. I just want you to know that this is the same location, same time as the previous 2 weeks worth of photos. We were getting ready to leave. In fact, we were on our way back to the car, and one of my, I think it was my oldest son, said, it was my youngest son. He said, can we go out to this little dock over here, this fishing dock, just to check it out? So we walked over on this peninsula, this man-made peninsula, out to this fishing dock, and as we're getting closer, one of my kids goes, "Daddy, there's a bird." And we looked, and sure enough, there's this huge bird. I believe it's a crane, maybe a heron. I don't know. See, now by this time, if you've been following Weekly 50 for any length of time, you know that I don't know anything about plants and anything about wildlife. Other than that, I like to take photographs of plants and wildlife. So there's this huge bird, and I thought, well, I'll take a picture, but there's no way this picture will ever turn out because this bird's going to fly away long before I can get close enough. But I figured it wouldn't hurt to try, so I carefully, like very carefully, walked slowly towards this bird. It was sitting at the end of this little peninsula, and you could tell the bird was getting a little skittish, and I really didn't want to scare the poor thing. I just wanted to take its picture. But with a 50mm lens, even on a crop sensor camera, you have to get close because there's no way that you can get a picture of any sort of wildlife from to look good at all without zooming way in, and you can't do that on a 50mm lens. So I'm just like taking one step, another step, really quietly, really carefully. Well, this bird wasn't fooled at all. It could see me coming. So then after a minute of me getting very slowly, getting closer very slowly, it finally just like lifted up its wings and took off. And I just held down the shutter on my camera, and the burst speed on that D7100 is like pretty slow, like 5 frames a second maybe, and the buffer fills up in about 6 shots. So I only had just a couple chances of getting this picture or getting any picture. And when I looked at my photos later, I was absolutely astonished that I was able to get this photo here. And here's the secret to this picture. It's cropped way down. There's like I don't know, it's a 24 megapixel camera, and this photo is probably like 2 megapixels, 3 megapixels. I had to crop this way down to get this photo. And that's fine. That's one of the reasons you get a high megapixel camera, so that you can crop if you need it. The way this turned out, like, this is largely unedited. I don't think I even straightened the photo. I could go back and look. I adjusted the white balance of the sky just a little bit, but I really didn't tweak much on this photo, and I like how sharp and crystal clear it is, even for being cropped way down. My favorite part is that you can see the bird's eye. The other photos I was able to get, the bird had already taken off and you couldn't really see its eye. But here you get this nice profile. The wings are up high, the legs are out back, and you can see the sun reflecting in that bird's eye. And this is super cool. I'm really glad I was able to take this shot. And the lesson that I learned is if you're going to go to a place where there might be wildlife, just bring a zoom lens. You never know when you'll need it.